Good evening, fish tankers. People often ask me, do I name my fish? Now the short answer is no. Right here we're looking at my 29 gallon. I would say it's my favorite tank right now, all in all, if I look at how the plants and the whole tank itself has turned out. But there's no individual fish here that stands out above the other. It's all about the interaction among them and the different groups of fish. For you to name a fish, it has to stand out from the other fish. It has to have a bit of personality, a bit of character, and something that sets it apart. So there is one little fish that I did name, and I'm going to show you that one, as well as a couple of other favorites of mine that stand out more as individuals. Okay guys, now here's one little fish. See, it's a small juvenile male emperor tetra, and I've named this little fellow John McClane after the Die Hard character because he dies hard. He was born in this tank. Fish don't always work with a camera. There he turns around. He was born in this tank. There's another very short video on my channel about this little baby emperor tetra that just appeared one day. I just saw a tiny little fish in among the spiderwood moving around, and there was this little guy, and it's been months now and he's still going strong, and you can now clearly see it's a male because of his colors and that trident extension in the tail. And here's little John McClane who wouldn't die. He's a diehard. So in this big 75 gallon tank, somehow an egg escaped eating, and this little fry survived, and he grew up all the way to now. And now he's in among the females, and there's one other male, and that male is of course his dad. And his dad is sitting right there in among the plants. There's only one male before he arrived, so that I know is the dad. And that's my other individual favorite. He's sort of a mini tank boss in this tank. I've got two males and 6 females, and he unfortunately killed off the other male and was left on his own. And now little diehard John McClane popped out, his son, and survived all the way until now, and has even survived his dad. Dad chases Junior out every so often, but the tank is big with lots of plants, so they find their own space. And so far so good. We've got the old dominant male here and all the females, so you don't know who's the mum, and then the little guy who survived that I've just shown you. And here is my other favorite. That's the small tank boss in the big tank, and that's John McClane's dad, the male emperor tetra. And in the big tank we also have the big tank boss, and she hasn't got a name. I keep referring to her as a he. And this one also started as a youngster. I bought 2 koi angels, this one and another one, and I initially thought this one was a female, which it turned out to be. The other one had more of that hump that males have, and initially was a dominant one that tends to bully the other one a little bit, but nothing serious. And then they started spawning in the 29 gallon, laying eggs every so often. And then suddenly this big one turned tiger and bullied her mate all the time, until I had to separate them. I put the mate back I moved them to the 75 gallon as they grow bigger. And then as this one bullied her mate, I put him back in the 29 gallon, and I assumed because this was a stronger one and always winning the fight, it's got to be a male. But then lo and behold, I saw her lay eggs here on her own sim on the filter. So she is a single angel fish that's got all the other fish to rule here in the 75 gallon. The emperor tetra, the big male, and little John McClane take care of the smaller fish, and this is all on its own, one big fish that gets to have her own way. Nobody here to challenge her, and she's more or less okay. She doesn't mind the other fish. And then over here is my favorite of all my fish, and this is a Siamese fighter male, the beta as we say these days, and he is a Nemo placat. Placat refers to the shorter fin variety, and it's a very active male, and I think he's been with me for probably over a year and a half, round about there. And also a tank boss. This little 30 centimeter cube is his domain, and he shares it with a shoal of ember tetras and 2 otocinclus and the nerite snail. And this is a fish that has remarkable intelligence. You can actually train it. I've got a little spoon that I measure his food out in, and I always go to the left hand corner of the tank. I tap there. If I move there at the corner where he usually gets fed, you can see he'll come and check it out. But he's already been fed, and you don't overfeed bettas. So these are my 4 individual fish that stand out. In the big tank, it's the male emperor tetra and his son John McLean, the big old angel, the queen of a tank there, and then here my favorite is this very colorful, very characterful, very active betta. So guys, tell me in the comment sections, do you have any favorite fish that become sort of like a wet pet, something that reacts towards you, and that's a bit of a character that stands out from among the other fish rather than just part of a tank as a whole? Tell me in the comment section. And also, if you've watched this part, please give a video a thumbs up, give it a like, and please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to build this channel for South African fish keeping and also for fish keepers around the world. I very much appreciate the support. And until we see each other again, keep taking good care of those domestic denizens of the deep.